Assalamualaikum. Thank you for the nice introduction. Kasih banyak. I want to try to mix campur sikit bahasa Melayu dengan English lah. Tapi try to see how, inshallah. I would like to thanks also Aqsa Syarif and Base for the Punya organizing the program, Palestine Center of Excellence. And my topic actually on the Gaza blockade. Yeah. And it's a very important to focus on Gaza as it's a part of Palestine. That's a very important. But the most that my experience comes because I'm actually from Gaza. So that's helped me to go through some of the daily and humanitarian issues that people actually face in Gaza. I've been in Malaysia for 5 years. I visited Gaza within these 5 years twice. The latest was 11 months ago. So it's not even 1 year yet. And I think this year I was planning to go, but I don't think can with the situation in Egypt and Rafah borders. First, I would locate Gaza Strip in the Palestine map, and which you can see here, it's a very small part of Palestine, which is just equivalent to 1.3 of the total land of Palestine. It's on the southern west side of Palestine. It's on the west side of Gaza is the Mediterranean Sea. On the north side is the occupied land, as same as on the east part of Gaza, and on the south part of Gaza our borders with Egypt. So actually we have two kinds of borders, which is the southern side, which is with Egypt, and the northern and eastern side, which comes with the occupied land, which is actually existing now is Israel. Gaza is very small coastal part of Palestine, which is just 365 kilometers square, and that's only 1.3 of the total Palestine land, which is 27,000 kilometers square. Who lives there? They are Palestinians, but there are 1.7 million Palestinian in this very small coastal Palestinian land. You have a population there. The density of population is 4,505 per kilometer square. It's one of the highest in the world, and is the highest part is Jabalia camp, which is located on the north part of Gaza Strip. It actually on that refugee camp you have around 250,000 people in a refugee camp, and there it comes that we have 3/4 of this 1.7 million, which is around 1.1 million. They are actually refugees. They came from the occupied land during the war of 48 and 67. So 1.1 out of the 1.7, they are actually refugees staying in Gaza Strip. They left their villages on the occupied land and they came to Gaza. So that's a very important. And you have more than half of the population in Gaza, they are under 18 years old. So they consider as a children here. That's a very important fact. The map is very small. I want it bigger, but because I want to show, to understand the situation in Gaza and how the siege and the blockade. Macam mana orang yang duduk kat sana face this daily life, and how it actually comes through the crossing points that they have, and how many crossing points that they have, how actually their daily life depends on the situation in the crossing points, because all kind of supplies, the people movement is only crossing across the points that they have. And on the north side of Gaza, where we have Beit Hanun, we Palestinians call it Beit Hanun, the Israeli side is Erez, crossing point, which actually only designed for people to cross. It's not meant to any supplies. And the usual crossing, it's very restricted, and it's you can say it's open part-time, and people only can cross by a special permission that is issued by Israelis, and mostly it's just for cases that people goes to West Bank and link, and it's only crossing point that link directly the Palestinian sides, West Bank and Gaza Strip. So that's why Palestinian land at the current moment is not linked geographically. The only crossing point is Beit Hanun, and it's controlled by the Israeli side. On the, I hope I can get this one bigger. Because on the north side it is, after that comes that we have Ashijaiya, which is the Palestinian name, and in the Israeli call it Nahil Oz. I think if I can get it from here bigger. Okay. So it's Nahel Oz. It's which is actually meant for this one. It's meant only for fuel supplies. It's the pipeline, and actually now it's closed since 2010. It's totally closed. You have just next to, I mean, only a few, around few hundred meters away, which is Ashijaiya, which is Karni, and it's meant for supplies. And that one, it's used to be partly open, but since March 2011, it's totally closed. That were actually the capacity of Karni used to be, which is Al-Muntar, used to be 8,000 trucks per day. That's how the supplies can, how much supplies Gaza used to need from that crossing borders, that actually can get supplies, the foods, you need the basic daily uses that Gaza used was around 8,000 trucks per day, and borders there actually been established after the Oslo Agreement in 1994 between the Palestinian Authority and the Israeli side. If we go to the south part, you have another crossing point closed since September 2008, which is Sofa. And Sofa is used to supply the equipment, the building material equipment, and since the 2008 it's closed. On the east, I mean on the very south part with the occupied land, which is Israelis now, it's Karim Shalom, the Israeli call it, and we call it Karm Abu Salim. That's the, now it's, if you can, I would call it, it's closed, but it's partly open. Supplies the whatever actually used to be supplied through the others, now it comes to one border. So out of the 5, you have only one open, which is actually partly open, and it's restricted. So building materials just been banned to go through it. Some fuels come through it, and actually some aids that comes through other countries come through it. If we will go to the other part, this is all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is with the Israeli side, and we have the very famous crossing point, which is Rafah, and everybody actually know about Rafah. This is the crossing. It is Nahel Oz, Karni, and Sofa, and Karm Abu Salim, and the end is Rafah. I just explained each of this crossing just now. That's the most famous. It's actually closed, and it opened partly. So every few months, or sometimes every month, they open it for 2 or 3 days. Last year was open, I remember, for all the year. I crossed Gaza on back to Malaysia was May. On June, actually, the problem started in Egypt, and since that time, border with Gaza, it's Rafah crossing border, it's closed, and it's open only in a few. If there is a cases of Umrah, they will open it. Hajj, they will open it. Others is like, I think yesterday, today, and tomorrow it's open. But yesterday only 2 buses crossed. When I was in Gaza last year, 24 buses per day used to cross. Yesterday only 2 buses crossed. So that's why I said it's closed, but it's partly open. This is the Egyptian side actually, and this is where the border actually closed, and people actually coming from Egypt, from all over the world, when they come, they have to cross Egypt and go through Rafah to Gaza, and these people actually coming to Gaza and stuck on the border side. That's when the buses cross from the Egyptian side to the Palestinian side. So this bus actually heading to the Palestinian arrival road, and that's actually the Egyptian army that actually guarding the Rafah Konya side. Palestinian people on the Palestinian actually side, waiting for the borders to open or to reopen, so they actually can cross and make it. Some of them actually they are visiting Gaza on that time, and some of them go for a medical support and medical health care in Egypt or other countries, or some of them the students going overseas to further their studies. The medical situation, I'll just go through very fast because I think no time. The medical situation, you have 469 out of 904 basic type of medical supplies have completely run out of stock in the medical center and hospitals in Gaza. You have around 1,000 monthly cases that have been affected by the crossing points. They need actually specialized attention, and this one actually is not provided in Gaza, so they have to travel somewhere to have that kind of treatment. So with this kind of closure of the borders, yang tutup dengan Mesir or dengan Israel pun dia tak boleh pergi. So people have to suffer, and mostly or them are kids. I've just mentioned half of the population are under 18. All of the plan that actually for international medical delegations to come and visit actually is been postponed to other time due to the border close. Power situation. Okay. Power situation. Gaza actually in need of 244 megawatt of electricity. 120 come through Israel, and you have 17 through Egypt. And the power plant, which is being attacked by the Israelis in 2007, supplies Gaza with 107, but it's actually now not that capacity that can actually be generated. Even is not only because of the attack that happened, it's also because of the shortage of the fuel that actually that power plant can operate. So they have a schedule of the operational schedule of the electricity that people actually receive in Gaza, which sometimes actually the last week been improved for a while after Qatar were supplying some fuel and paying for the Israeli authority to supply fuel. But 2 weeks ago, the cut and the shortage of electricity, the scheme were applied was 16 hours cut off electricity. So people only get the electricity for 8 hours a day. And due to that power situation, you have other many problems actually been coming out, facing the people because of that. You have, for example, the sewage system will be down because you don't have electricity actually to treat the sewage water and to irrigate it. So they will just send it to the sea, and it actually environmentally affect the water of the sea, affect the refugee camp that it crossed by, pollute. It's pollution also. It's some of the year. I remember the swimming water in the sea was polluted, so we were actually prohibited to swim because it's going to affect us. The shortage of the water, the pipe systems, the municipalities' generator doesn't work because there is no enough fuel and there is no power, electricity to actually let the pumps generate the water and supply the neighborhoods. So people actually have to go and rush and get drinking water, washing water from other places. And actually the water, unclean water is the percentage is very high now. So people actually don't depend on the pipe water for any drinking. So you will have to go and buy your drinking water through some stations, or to call them to supply you a clean drinking water at home. And the recent crisis, which we call it winter crisis, happened in Gaza. It's not because of the heavy rain. Gaza every year have a heavy rain, but this year it happens that when the rain were there and the raining season came, Gaza was facing the shortage of the scheme were implemented was 16-hour cut-off. And due to that, municipalities, they couldn't run the Punya pipe system that get the water of the raining water to be headed to the sea and other places that actually they simpan air. So the neighboring area of these centers been actually flooded by the water. At the time where Malaysia had the floods in Terengganu, Gaza were actually also flooded, but it's because of the crisis, the power situation that Gaza faced. Gaza actually have suffering of natural gas or cooking gas crisis since the October 2012. Our speakers. So the cooking gas in Gaza in crisis since October 2012. That's almost 2 years, 1.5 years. I remember when I were last year in Gaza, my mother told me that she sent her canis to since 2 months, and she didn't get it back yet. So if you don't have extra at home, you will run out of the cooking gas, and then you'll have to cook on a fire, normal fire. So just buat api lah outside. Fishing and agriculture. This is my last point. both sectors are suffering of the siege and the occupation. Israel, when they attack or invade any place, they will have destroy this kind of. This is a tomato, so they will just destroy it, and whoever invested and planted it will lose the market. On the other side, on the fishing part, I just now on the map, the Gaza been allowed only for 3 kilometer miles to go in the sea. So if you actually go further 1 meter, extra Israel boats and warship will come to you and will fire. And you have a lot of cases that been Palestinian been actually killed by the Israeli warship through shooting at them when they are fishing in the sea. That's a very short summary of my 20 minutes. I think I just time is done. So just nice to be. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions?